Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia Carroll, and I'm the Executive Director of Autism Nova Scotia. Over the years, and certainly since I joined our organization in 2008, Autism Nova Scotia has experienced tremendous growth, not only in the scope of our mission and vision, but in our provincial reach. Today, Autism Nova Scotia has 11 locations across the province, supporting the community of Yarmouth all the way to Sydney, Cape Breton. Every year, our chapters offer supports and services to approximately 24,000 autistic individuals and their families. Many of Autism Nova Scotia's chapters have deep roots and rich history within their own communities. In several cases, our chapters began as community support centers and groups where local autistic individuals and families could go to receive support and attend programs. Over the years, these small but mighty centers courageously came together as one united entity to better support the autism community, and so became the chapters of Autism Nova Scotia. However, they never lost their grassroots community spirit. It is because of this spirit and strong local leadership that our chapters have been able to thrive and meet their community's unique needs. Our chapters are part of, not separate from, the communities in which they support. While we often hear about the successful programs and services in our chapters, it is rare that we have an opportunity to see the names and faces of the many local volunteers who put hundreds of hours into making these supports a reality. It is thanks to these special volunteers and members of our regional program boards across the province that Autism Nova Scotia has been so successful in supporting our autism community. These trailblazer volunteers are the true heroes of our story and true champions of inclusion. And so, in celebration of their tremendous efforts, I would now like to highlight some of the champions across the province who strive to make Autism Nova Scotia's vision a reality every single day. The first volunteer I would like to acknowledge is Annapolis Valley Chapter Chair, Marty Kress. Marty assumed the role of Annapolis Valley Chapter Chair in 2019. He first became involved with the chapter after his daughter was diagnosed with autism. Since that first contact, Marty, already a dedicated community volunteer, wanted to give back to the chapter and help it thrive, and so he has. Marty has worked tirelessly to support the growth and sustainability of the chapter. His original goal for the chapter was to build a strong program committee. He has since successfully doubled the number of committee members with a dynamic mix of committed professional volunteers from different sectors and walks of life. In addition to his duties as chair, Marty heads up several fundraisers, including the very successful Autos for Autism event, an annual fundraiser of classic cars, food, and activity. Marty is there for families and individuals, for volunteers, and for staff. He always has a smile to share and brings so much energy and life to the chapter. Thank you, Marty. The next volunteer I'd like to acknowledge are the Bedford-Sackville chapter co-chairs, Paulette Butts and Meryl Cunningham. Paulette and Meryl work together as an amazing and dynamic team. Paulette formed the original group in 2004, which went on to become an Autism Nova Scotia chapter in 2012. Meryl came on the scene several years later as co-chair. Both Paulette and Meryl have sons on the autism spectrum. The Bedford-Sackville chapter focuses on the parent support group and family events in the central region of the province. Paulette and Meryl divide the duties in planning and implementing these events, with Meryl managing the email, website, and social media posts, and Paulette focusing on in-person connects and facilitating the support group. Great team effort, don't you think? Paulette saw a need for both a parent and caregiver support group, as well as family events, realizing that families should have the opportunities to do things together in the community. She spearheaded some of the most popular family events, including regular swims, the summer picnic, and the Christmas bounce. Always warm, friendly, and available to anyone who connects with the chapter, Paulette and Meryl are a strong team, passionate to provide a shoulder or an ear to anyone in need. Thank you so much, Paulette and Meryl. Next up is Cape Breton chapter co-chairs Crystal Gale and Jessie McNeil. Crystal is a mom to a son with autism and was on the board of the original Autism Society of Cape Breton. When Autism Cape Breton joined Autism Nova Scotia as the Cape Breton Region chapter in 2019, Crystal became the enthusiastic chapter chair. Crystal is a great partner in supporting the movement of the chapter from an independent group to one of our regional chapters. She worked very hard to see the continuation of the summer day camp program, which was an important summer option for the Sydney region. She is forward-thinking and is an example for the organization. Crystal wants to see the chapter thrive and grow. She's a team player and has a vision for the chapter to be embraced by the Cape Breton community. In addition to her role as co-chair, she has great fundraising ideas and jumps right in with both feet. Crystal, you are a true leader for the Cape Breton region. Jessie McNeil is a recent addition to the Cape Breton Region Board and has since become a wonderful co-chair. She has worked with the autistic community for a number of years and brings her passion for her work to the board. Although she has only been a board member for a matter of months, she found her footing very quickly and brings energy and great ideas to the table through extension the Autism Cape Breton community. Thank you, Jessie and Crystal. Our next acknowledgement goes to the Cumberland County Chapter Past Chair, Tanya Hyslop. Tanya became chair of the Cumberland County Chapter in 2017 and brought to the board her considerable knowledge in early childhood and autism. A strong and capable leader, Tanya guided the chapter as the potential program was being launched and assisting in establishing an office and hiring an autism support coordinator for the chapter. When the chapter needed a walk the walk chairperson, Tanya enthusiastically took that role on and saw 3 successful walk years in the community. She was a dedicated leader who went above and beyond for the good of the chapter. Tanya stepped away from the chapter earlier this year, but we wish her continued success and give our heartfelt thank you for all of her hard work and dedication. Thank you so much. Next, I want to talk about the Cumberland County Chapter co-chairs, Candace McIver and Susan Green. Candace joined the Cumberland County Board in 2020. With her extensive background as an early childhood educator, she brings bountiful knowledge and expertise to the board and corresponding supports. When Tanya stepped away earlier this year, Candace stepped in and embraced the role and has thrived as a co-chair ever since. Susan is the proud mom of an adult on the autism spectrum. She has been with the chapter board for several years, acting as the chapter treasurer. Susan is very involved in the Amherst community and brings her considerable talents to the chapter. She's always willing to contribute and pitch in to see the chapter become successful. Together, Candace, Susan provide leadership and guidance to the rest of the board. Thank you so much to both of you for all that you do. The next trailblazer I'd like to acknowledge is Pictou County Chapter Chair, Allison Kearley. Allison has held the position of chapter chair since Pictou County became a chapter in 2015. She is described by her fellows as an advocate for all children, someone with a fire in her heart. Her advocacy skills are summed up in the following quote by Pauline Kael. "Where there's a will, there's a way. If there is a chance in a million that you can do something, anything, to keep what you want from ending, do it. Pry the door open, or if need be, wedge your foot in that door and keep it open." There are many examples of Allison's diligence and dedication. However, one stands out above all others is when her daughter on the autism spectrum was enrolled in a swim program, only to have the swim instructor announce that the program was not appropriate for their daughter. Rather than accept this opinion, Allison arranged a meeting with management and wedged her foot in that door, and she surely kept it open. What could have been a defeating moment blossomed into an eventual reconfiguration of the swim program. Now, families like Allison's have an autism swim program that is inclusive of all participants. Allison, you truly are one in a million. Thank you so much for all you have done and all you continue to do. Next up is the South Shore chapter, Catherine Rahey. Catherine is one of the founding members of the South Shore chapter, formerly the Autism Center Society of the South Shore, which first opened its doors in 2007. Since 2012, Catherine has been the chair of the chapter board and also sits on the provincial board of directors as vice chair. She worked tirelessly to create a unique partnership between the South Shore chapter and the South Shore Regional Education Centre, the only such partnership in the province, and continues to be a champion of inclusion every day in everything that she does. Catherine is a lifelong learner, a passionate educator, and a dedicated advocate for the autistic community. Thank you so much, Catherine. I would now like to acknowledge Southwest Chapter founders and past co-chairs Michelle LeBlanc and Lisa Doucette. Michelle and Lisa became Autism Nova Scotia's first co-chair of a regional program board when they founded the Southwest Chapter in 2002. Seeking to improve the situation for autistics in the Southwest region and wanting to raise awareness and acceptance about autism, Michelle and Lisa threw themselves into leading the chapter towards these goals. They held annual education days in the Southwest region and enthusiastically embraced the Walk the Walk event every year. They built the board and worked to build partnerships with education, health, and recreation. They supported the development of the Autism Arts program in Yarmouth, wrote grants to support programs, and worked tirelessly for the Southwest autism community. Michelle and Lisa worked well as a team, always looking to improve possibilities for the autism community. Lisa stepped away from the chapter in 2017 and Michelle in 2019. I want to thank both of these strong and dynamic women for the work they did to bring the Southwest chapter to life and to nurture it towards a fuller development within the region. Lisa and Michelle, your commitment and support is forever valued and remembered. Thank you. Next, I want to acknowledge the current Southwest chapter chair, Angeline D'Entremont. Angeline became the Southwest chapter chair in 2019 when Michelle moved on. She brings her expertise as a behavioral specialist to enhance her role as chair. Angeline is the proud mom of 2 girls, one of whom is on the autism spectrum. Angeline has the unique perspective of being the first autism support coordinator hired to support the Southwest chapter, giving her experience as both a staff member on the front lines and a board member. Angeline has worked to build a strong board for the chapter and to foster the growth of more programming. She is an extremely capable leader who is both very warm and approachable. In addition to her work as chair, Angeline does an excellent job as the head of the chapter's parent support group. Angeline, thank you so much for your incredible time, work, and focus. Next up is the Strait Area Chapter Board and Lisa Doucette. Lisa stepped into the role of chair of the Strait Area Chapter in 2020. The chapter board at the time needed to be built up and given direction. Lisa, a seasoned volunteer with experience working in the not-for-profit sector, saw the need and set out to make a difference. She found new board members, worked with the chapter staff person to develop events, wrote grants, and develop additional programming. Lisa assumed the role at a difficult time, with the COVID-19 pandemic beginning weeks following her becoming chair of the board. She dealt with the limitations with vigor, tenacity, and still managed to achieve her goal of a strong working board. In the last few weeks, Lisa has realized it's time for her to step away from the chapter. She leaves a strong legacy in her wake of a board and staff poised to help the chapter blossom. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing your abilities and helping the chapter flourish. Next up is Truro founder and past chair, Lori Logue. Lori started the original Truro parent group that would eventually become the Truro chapter in 2015. She was the first chair of the Truro chapter and used her passion for her role to build a dynamic board. She worked incredibly hard to create a Walk the Walk committee, and under her leadership, the event grew in success each year. One of the highlights of the walk is the awesome cake her son creates. Lori helps plot a path to provide supports to the community. She is a dedicated teacher and advocate and an inspiring leader who set the Truro chapter on a path to growth and success. Lori, you are amazing, and thank you so much for all you do. Last, but certainly not least, I wish to acknowledge the current Truro chapter chair, Will McClafferty. In 2019, Will accepted the mantle of the chair of Truro chapter and has since held its continued growth. He has taken time to learn and become a leader in supporting the board as programs and services develop. While Will has been chair, the chapter has developed a swim program and held successful summer camp programs, which they plan to repeat this summer. He is tenacious in seeing the chapter grow and has been a true friend and supporter in the autism community. Will, the Truro chapter is lucky to have you. Thank you so much. As I wrap up these acknowledgements, I just want to say again how incredibly valuable our volunteer and regional program board members are to the autism community. Without your generosity, Autism Nova Scotia would never be able to deliver our critical supports and services. It is because of your tireless efforts that we are able to support 24,000 autistic individuals and their families across the province and lifespan every year. To our volunteers and regional program board members, you are the true heroes of our story and a shining example of what it means to lead with courage. If you or someone you know is interested in volunteering with Autism Nova Scotia and making a difference in your community, please reach out and connect with us. Thank you so much.